and get this started. I want to go ahead and start the YouTube highlight from right here, and you know, it'll be uploaded on my channel shortly, you know, the next day or so. So make sure you guys subscribe to YouTube if you want to get the, you know, daily show uploaded on there. If you want to link it to any one of your friends, guildmates, whatever. All right. So this Friday is our special guest interview with Juveynile and Sinnermighty. Those are both two warriors within Blood Legion. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll pop their armories open right here. And let's get Juvies open. And then we're going to get them in Skype and get it going. Alright. So, here are our two. Let's see if I can get this. And get it where we can have both open at one time. Maybe. Alright. So here we go. That's our two guests for today. I'm going to go ahead and get them here on Skype, and we'll adjust some volume settings and take it from there. Yo. Yo.
Yo.
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah?
Alright, just making sure.
Alright. Let's see. We may actually do it in Skype. Let me see how Sinner's mic sounds. Let me get the Skype call going. Actually, yeah, let's just do it in Mumble. Man. Skype's got like that ambient noise. I don't want you guys having to listen to that the whole time. I'm going to just pull them up to the interviews channel in Mumble. And then we'll just get it going from there. Alright. Hey, you guys are both there? Sinner, you there, team?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just going to turn Mumble up a little bit. I was going to do it on Skype, but Skype just has that ambient, like, noise going on the whole time. So I'll probably just use Mumble. I'm just going to turn this up. Usually it's a little lower than what they like, so you guys both, like, say something and let me know if, yeah, you guys just go ahead and talk, that way the stream can tell me how to adjust the volume.
What's up?
Hey. I guess my mic's fine.
Yeah, Juvy's a little bit loud. Juvie, go turn your...
Oh, my bad, man.
No. Go, it's because you started Skype. Just go into your sound settings and turn down your boost. Because it, like, turned it on, like, super high. And while he's messing with that, if you guys just want to both throw your links in stream chat, and then that way people can, you know, take a look at your armories while we're going through the interview and whatnot. Then we'll get into, you know, various warrior, WoW, and random questions and stuff.
You're in a prod gear, Chewy.
Yeah, Juvie is. The fuck are you tanking? Oh, last night?
5 minutes.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's normal. Alright, so, you guys let me know if I need to turn either one of them up. It should be pretty good, for the most part, and we'll go ahead and get this started. So yeah, just update me as it goes. Just type something, and I'll check chat, and I'll adjust the volume as needed. So, just a quick intro from me for both of them. I mean, obviously I know these guys. I've raided with them. I've known Juvie for a while, and Sinner for a couple months now. Both of these are warriors in Blood Legion. They, you know, play Fury arms, and a little bit of prot on the side. And we'll just go ahead and do it in alphabetical order. So we'll start with Juvie, and just let him, you know, introduce himself, name, where he's from, and things like that. And then, you know, we'll get Sinner in here as well, and have him do the same. And then we'll start opening up with a couple of questions. So go ahead, Juvie.
Hey, my name's Preston. Obviously, I play a female orc warrior from like Dallas, Texas. And the other games I pretty much play are like Call of Duty and FPS games, basically.
Okay, Sinner, go ahead.
That was pretty short, Chewy. But my name's Rahul. I'm from Toronto. I play a lot of other MMOs when they come out. They never really work out though. play FPS games as well, just casually. Used to play Halo 2 somewhat competitively. And yeah, I just enjoyed gaming the whole time. I've been playing WoW for 6 years now.
Okay, cool. And just to give a little bit of background, or Juvie, you are, just throw age out there.
Oh yeah, I'm 23.
And then Sinner, I think you're 18, right?
Yeah, I'm 18, turning 19 in a month.
Okay, yeah. So Juvie's right around the middle of the road age within the guild. It's and then Sinner's one of our younger members, but both have been pretty. Juvie's been in the guild. I'll just go ahead and let you explain it. Like just go over guild history prior to Blood Legion, and then a little bit about your time in Blood Legion thus far.
I played pretty hardcore in vanilla with a few other different guilds. I played in a guild with the Taxes, they Victus back in the day. Team Awesome on Mugthal, pretty much that was it as far as vanilla goes. Crimson Eclipse. And then I played a little bit of BC Season 1, Season 2 of PvP, didn't really PvE at all in BC. And then in Wrath, I honestly didn't play at all in Wrath either. Most of that time was spent playing FPS games, going to Europe and whatnot. And then came back for the very beginning of Kata. Played with a bunch of FPS friends, Maglio, Bond, guys in the guild with me now. And pretty much we finished, I don't know, T11. I think top 20 US is normal mode. And then hard modes came along, and as I'm sure some people know, 10-mans were by far and away harder on hard mode than 25-man at the beginning. And after that, I joined up with, I can't even remember their name now.
Out of line. Yeah.
Yeah, Out of Line on Storm Reaver Horde. And finished Sinestro with them, and pretty much after Blood Legion after that.
Cool. What were, I know you mentioned like you and Ataxis were in a previous guild and things like that. Did you guys really know each other or hang out or anything?
No, I don't remember him at all, honestly. I just remember the name, and I'm sure he doesn't remember me too much either. It was a long time ago.
Even still, it's pretty small world, considering you knew each other way back when and then ended up in the same guild now. So, I mean, what were some of the reasons that you decided to switch from the 10-man raid scene, other than, I mean, like you mentioned, the tier 11 heroics and 10-man were pretty much across the board harder for the most part, a couple of exceptions, but that's about it. What were some of the reasons that you decided to make the jump from 10 to 25-man raiding?
Well, I was enjoying playing with pretty much all my friends, but as I said, they got pretty frustrated with how different 10 25 was, so they pretty much either wanted to quit the game or all try to join make or join a 25-man guild. So a lot of us decided just to go over to Out of Line instead of just die. That's pretty much the only reason I made the switch, honestly. And I figured if I'm gonna play this game, this much, I might as well try to be number one.
What were did you, or just before we get into that question, Sinner, what about you? Like prior history before coming to Blood Legion?
I started playing the game around BC. It was actually my first MMO that I've ever played, so I was like really scrubby back then when I started, just clicking and everything. I used to be on Burning Legion until Kata came out, and one of my guilds ended up turning into a 10-man, so I decided to finally leave the server after so long. And just that's really when I started climbing up in guilds and really wanted to push for the most hardcore progression is. So tier 11, I joined Druin and ended up US 83rd with them. And then tier 12, I was in Reckoning and got US 9th, and in Vigil for tier 13 and got US 13th. And as soon as Madness died, I applied to Blood Legion.
And then one thing I was going to ask both of you before we get into reasons of joining Blood Legion, things like that. Juvie, what about like other characters prior to your warrior? Did you really play anything hardcore, or has your warrior kind of been your main through and through?
The very first class I actually ever played was a warrior. I got that to level 10, and I instantly deleted it because I believe I died a million times getting to level 10. Back then, warriors were probably like insane, like by far gear dependent. So like when you leveled up a new warrior, it was pretty difficult. After that, I made a hunter, and I leveled that all the way to 60 and made that my main. And that was my main pretty much all through vanilla. Near the end of vanilla, I leveled up a warrior, and from BC on, warrior was my main basically.
And whenever you're mentioning warrior being your main, is that exclusively DPSing, or did you
Pretty
tank
much
a bit?
exclusive DPS. I tanked a little bit, I think, in Karazhan, but like I said, the majority of the time in BC it was purely PvP. So.
Okay, and then Sinner, what about you? Like, when did you start playing? And then, have you really played any other characters aside from your warrior?
This warrior is actually the first character I ever made in the game, and like Juvie, I leveled in vanilla, and it was pretty terrible just leveling a warrior, and it almost made me want to quit and just like reroll a mage or something, but I just stuck through it because I'm like, oh, I'm already level 20, might as well just continue going. And pretty much when like I started raiding, I stuck to protection, just tanking, and I was a tank all the way up to tier 11 normals when I finally made the switch to DPS for the first time.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty interesting backgrounds. I played my druid back in vanilla, and it wasn't like super hardcore, so I can't really relate to the pains and struggles of leveling a warrior. But from the sounds of it, it seems pretty rough. So Juvie, what about I guess what? You've been in Blood Legion a while now, going on a year. So I mean, like, what were some of the reasons that you wanted to join Blood Legion in specific?
Well, as far as the year goes, it's like 3 months according to you. I think I've missed like 9 months of raiding. So, as far as actually the reason I wanted to join, you came over during T11 progression and helped us with some of the 10-man heroics, and then when we joined out of line, you helped us with some of the Sinesha progression. And after pretty much raiding with you and seeing how hardcore you took it, it definitely made me want to raid insanely hardcore. And if I was going to do it, I might as well have done it with you as leading.
Yeah, I definitely remember talking to you and Bond and Maglio and all that about whenever you guys were doing 10-mans and stuff. It's pretty interesting when it gets down to it, like how small the actual community is or whatnot from the people who are around in the hardcore guilds. And I know there's probably a lot of people that are watching the stream that aren't really familiar with a lot of the people that raid and like the top 3 or 4 or 5 U.S. guilds and whatnot. But it's a lot of the times it's you get the occasional fresh blood in, but yeah, usually the people that've been around, like I said, they end up staying around those guilds for a while, and it's pretty interesting thing about the raid community is just a lot of everybody knows everybody for the most part. Well, not everybody, but a lot. So yeah, more or less just mentioning that because of knowing Juvie, Bond, and Maglio and them prior to them coming here, and then pretty much all of them have been in the guild at some point. What about Sinner? How long have you, I guess, did you really have interest in joining Blood Legion? Because I know you've been fairly new. You've been here a couple of months already, but yeah, I mean, how did that path work out?
At the start of Kata, my goal was just to finish all of the hard mode content around like a top US 50 level, and I never thought I would end up being here. And like in my interview with Blood Legion, one of the questions was, what is your most desired goal in WoW? And I said a world top 20 kill, because at that time I never really had the chance to go for a world first kill, so it's being in Blood Legions totally changed my perspective, and that's one thing I wanted to get from joining here, is just get that mentality of a world first guild and always push to be the best no matter what.
Yeah, and yeah, it's definitely working out pretty good across the board. I know Warriors have been a strong spot for us. I know prior to you guys we had Ararat, and even Diggs played as Warrior for a bit, and now Diggs since switched to Feral, and then Eric ended up moving on with his job and things like that, and now we've got you two and then Troy and things like that. So I mean, we've always had pretty strong warrior DPS. Moving on, I guess more to class-specific type questions. What are some of the, I guess, strong points? Start with Sinner. What are some of the things that you think a warrior, just this X pack or whatnot, just some of the things that you've liked about the changes they've made?
In 4.1, Rallying Cry was given to us, and I think that was a huge change because it actually gave a reason for raid leaders to bring DPS warriors besides their actual DPS and crit buff. So that was a really nice raid cooldown for us to have, and it makes a big difference for fights where it's like a one big damage soak that helps out with the healers. Another thing was like the 4.5 second Moral Strike change. I think somewhere between tier 11 and tier 12, it allowed the arms rotation to be much easier, as well as Moral Strike refreshing Rend, so that pretty much took Rend out of the rotation besides on a new target. So they simplified things with arms. The whole RNG aspect is thrown around a lot for Fury, which I don't necessarily agree with. Like, yes, and Rage uptime is kind of flaky at times for Fury, but there's ways to manage that. So I think Fury was at a good spot in tier 12, especially just on Riggnaros and Balrog, where we were pretty much top DPS. Yeah, I think we were in a good spot, and then in tier 13 they just neutered Fury by having a stealth bug fix that they didn't tell anyone about until servers came live, on top of a 5% nerf. So that really hurt the Fury spec, and arms just came out on top.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, out of all that, I'm not like super in depth with the warrior stuff, but I definitely would agree with you on the Rallying Cry buff. I know that was pretty huge going to DPS warriors. So yeah, I don't. You would think they would end up giving, I don't know, trying to keep it even across the board, because it's, I mean, you'll get probably comparing warriors to kind of like in the same class as a Death Knight or a, you know, Ret Pally. I mean, in certain cases, you know, an Unholy Death Knight bringing AMZ, but I don't really, and then you give a warrior, a DPS warrior Rallying Cry, you know, what does the Red Pally really have? I don't really know why they took AM away from Ret Pallies, just because they would have given, you know, each plate DPS or each two-hand DPS, whatever you really want to look at it like, it would have given them all like a decent raid cooldown. And, you know, I like the more classes having more raid utility, but I guess you also have to balance, you know, classes, you know, having too many raid cooldowns and being able to, you know, maybe ignore certain parts of a fight, but, you know, when it comes down to it, if parts of a fight are able to be ignored, you know, the guilds that are getting the kills first are just going to end up stacking those classes to do so anyway. So I don't really see the harm in it, but yeah. What about you, Juvie? I mean, what are some of the things that you think warriors that you've liked about the changes since you've been playing? I mean, since you've been playing a bit longer, like all the way since vanilla.
Yeah, I don't know all the changes. Titan's Grip's pretty fun. I enjoy having two two-handers. It's a lot better than playing just like single-minded Fury. Pretty much is what it used to be only. Titan Grips was a good change. Obviously, the Rallying Cry was massive for getting actual more than one warrior in the raid. Their DPS was really good. Pretty much most of this tier, or most of this X-Pack basically. Towards the end, Fury obviously is a lot worse, and Arms is still just as good, but I don't enjoy playing Arms at all, so. Some of the old changes, I mean, I don't know. Mortal Strike was really OP back in the day with 50%. I wish that was back so I could just face roll my way to Glad. That was always fun. Can't think of any other real changes that I can really remember that I thought were amazing. I love the movement of a warrior. That's the reason I play it. The great, you know, heroic leap, intercept, heroic fury, intercept again. Being able to get across an entire room in like 2 GCDs is great.
Yeah, the mobility of a warrior is pretty ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, I only really tank on mine, and it's you just feel like you're you're not even playing the same game on a lot of fights
Yeah.
because it's just like, yeah, I feel like going to that side of the room. Okay, let me just teleport over there. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Intervene to a healer, charge to another ad, then leap the rest of the way. It's just like, okay, that's fine. But
Like when I'm on my Death Knight, I just feel neutered because it takes forever to go somewhere.
yeah. Try to keep it moving a bit. Start going over some of the basic. I just like asking people this set of questions just because it's always fun to see the answers people have, and we'll just bounce between both of you real quick. We'll start with Juvie here. What's your favorite raid instance that you've been through throughout your WoW career?
As I said, I played pretty hardcore in vanilla. AQ 40 was a ton of fun. I actually like that a lot. I didn't raid all of Nax. I only raided like the first 4 or 5 bosses in Nax. So I won't say that because I didn't see it all. But AQ 40 was a lot of fun. Oldor was a lot of fun. I raided pretty hardcore then, and not so much as Firelands, but Heroic Rag itself before all the nerfs was a ton of fun. That fight was really fun, but now it's been dumbed down way too much.
So if you had to pick one raid instance, what would you be going with?
I guess Old War probably.
Okay. What was your favorite fight inside Old War?
Firefighter probably. That fight was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, Sinner, what about you? Favorite raid tier?
Tempest Keep, hands down.
And I'm guessing what, Kel'Thas being your favorite?
Yeah. As a tank, that instance was just a lot of fun for me, especially like Galar with the platforms, and then Phase 2.
Yeah, Lara was
Kael'thas
pretty fun.
Yeah, Kel'Thas was just obvious reasons as to like how epic the fight was, and just compared to Vash, it was completely different fight. So I thought Tempest Keep was amazing.
What about, we'll just pick it up with you again, Sinner. What is your favorite looking tier, like favorite tier set, like for Transmire or whatnot on your warrior?
That's a tough one. Warriors have had really good tier sets throughout the game. I would have to pick one of the obvious ones would be tier 6 before they changed the how Sunworld gear matched with tier 6. I like the actual Sunworld gear. Another set would be tier 10 as well for a tier 10 heroic set.
Wait. What did they change about the Sunwell gear? I don't remember. Is that like something new? I don't remember them changing anything.
The tier 6 Sunwell gear, like the off-pieces, belt, bracers, boots, they used to match the Sunwell gear instead of actually the tier 6 gear, and they changed it.
Oh, I didn't even remember that, to be honest. But yeah, it's definitely I like tier 6 a lot on my warrior. That's what I actually have Transmine now, except the helm. I haven't run to get that on there yet. What about you, Juvie? Favorite Transmog set?
It's not even close. Zonkers T3 with dual wield Ashbringers. That's by far the sickest thing in the game, hands down.
Yeah, Zonkus Warriors pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's okay, I guess.
Oh, okay, get out of here.
Yeah. Let's see. Going on from that, what about your guys' favorite? Let's see what we go with. Favorite boss fight overall? I know you guys mentioned. I know Juvie mentioned Firefighter from Old War. What about just overall? Does that really change, or do you have a top 3, 5, anything?
For me, just pretty much overall, I'd have to say Heroic Rag just because it's first boss I was actually pushing since vanilla. Pretty much, I was pushing hardcore and going for a top world kill. We obviously didn't get what we wanted, but the fight was still pretty amazing all the way through.
What about you, Sinner? Favorite raid fight?
For Craig as well, just the fight just made you play perfection for 14 to 15 minutes, and that was just amazing. As a DPS, it just required so much concentration, and things really changed up each phase, and phase 3 was just brutal for a DPS, just absolute min-max.
Yeah, I definitely would probably put Rag in my top 5. I don't really know if I'd be able to put a list together of any specific order, but that would definitely be in there. I know Yagzero is pretty rough as well, and then things like I don't know. I'd probably even have Spine in there on my list just because of
Oh god.
how demanding the timings and DPS and stuff like. But that was a lot more class based than.
Yeah, as a melee DPS, Spine was just kind of mind numbing. It was just if you're on a Malx or Bloods. I was on Blood duty during progression.
Yeah, that fight was definitely a lot about timing more so than movements and things like that. I think that is what Rag really excelled at, was just making, the dance portion on top of, you had the burst AE from the seeds, and then you had, the entire. Even the intermissions were brutal, man. It's something as trivial as DPSing 8 static spar. I mean, you knew where they were coming and things like that, but it still was. I don't know. There's just so many points of failure on that fight.
Thunderstorming adds into Rag Hammer.
Yeah. Let's see. While we're going over stuff like this, if people in the stream have questions for either one of these guys, just go ahead and throw them in there, and then annotate who you really, or who the question is directed towards, and then we can ask the questions as we're going through the interview and things like that. Let's I guess go over both of your guys' alts real quick. Like, what do you guys, what Juvie, just I know you've got several alts as well as Sinner. What are some of your guys' favorite characters to play outside of your warrior?
The new class I just leveled, honestly, Red Pally. I enjoy that a lot. That's the first other melee I've made. Because I don't really enjoy DKs or rogues, to be honest. I haven't even bothered leveling them. But I made a Red Pally, and it's actually a ton of fun to play a Red Pally. I don't think it'd be as fun as it is. My Druid was a lot of fun on Heroic Rag when we were doing multiple runs of that. Just because it took a lot of work to do good DPS on that. And that's one of the downsides of that class, too, is like when you play an alt, you sort of just want to relax. And on a Druid, you definitely can't do that. It's a lot of work to do DPS on a Druid. And then obviously I have my Shaman for healing. I enjoy healing a little bit. I'm obviously not amazing at it, but it's definitely a different change of pace to heal. And what else do I have? My Shadow Priest. That's okay. I'm still part of Team Orge. Sorry, Opti. And I think that's it. I think it's all my 85. Oh, Hunter. I hate that class, but it's really OP right now, so I play it.
Yeah. So you'd have to go with Red Pally being your favorite thus far. Is that just because it's newer, or do you really do like it?
No, I really do like it. I enjoy playing melee the most. The reason I liked melee Shaman for a while is because casting while moving was great. It basically felt like playing a melee at range. But now that you can't instant cast Lava Burst anymore, it's not near as fun. I enjoy melee a lot more. I don't like being able to I don't like having to stand still and do something. I like being able to just jump around like a freak.
What about you, Sinner? What's your favorite alt?
I kind of have to agree with Juvie there. Like, I sort of hate playing range, but I have a mage alt that I really loved during ICC just because fire mages were so OP back then. I also have a Death Knight that's almost best in slot now, and that's a lot of fun. Just being in melee again, and the whole rune system, runic power system is really interesting. I was never really able to get a Death Knight to 85 before, but now that I have, it's a lot of fun. I also have a second warrior that is playing arms right now, and it just helps me like play both specs at the same time, like Fury on my main, arms on my second warrior. Just always playing both specs helps me like refine the class a lot and keeps me up to date on like my rotation so I don't get rusty.
Alright, what we're going to do now is have people ask warrior-specific questions, and you guys can take turns answering them, or if one of you answers it and the other one wants to throw in a little bit more or whatnot, go ahead and deal with that. So anybody that's in stream chat, if you guys have any warrior-specific questions, or even have an audit that you want to do on your armory, or them to take a look at your armory, just comment on your gymming and chants and things like that. Forging, respecking, just put your armory on my Twitter, and then we'll pull a random probably 2 or 3 armories off my Twitter account, and don't link them in here. I'm just going to pull them off my Twitter, so you guys take 30 seconds and post on that if you want, and we'll pick 2 or 3 armories off there. So I'm gonna scroll through and find a couple word questions, and we can alternate who answers these.
Go ahead and do loops. He's got a pretty good question as far as the new mop mechanics and stuff.
The personally disappointed thing? Yeah, this guy says,
Yeah.
I'm personally disappointed with new warrior mechanics in Mists of Pandaria, especially with new talents. They all look useless or PvP focused, and new mechanics, removal of intercept, shield slam, spam, tank. What are your feelings about this? So which one of you guys wants, or GV, go ahead.
As far as the tank part goes, I honestly don't care too much about that, because unless Rig or Abs fall face of the earth, come progression, I'll be DPSing anyways. They're pretty much here all the time. As far as the changes to like intercept, I mean, it was changing stances and whatnot was pretty much useless right now anyways. As far as PvP, especially PvP, in PvE it was you pretty much macroed whatever you needed to change. Charge was on, you could use in combat as arms, and they're basically just doing the same thing for Fury now. So I don't know if removal of intercept actually does a little bit, but it's not the biggest deal. And then Bloodthirst giving rage and all that. It's I don't know how it's going to turn out. I hope it helps with some of the random, miss streaks and all that. And I'm not sure how I like the 6-second cooldown on Bloodthirst and a 6-second cooldown on Raging Blow with filling in Wild Strike in between. I guess we'll see how it works out. I'll pretty much be able to answer a lot more of that once beta comes out and we're able to test it and whatnot. And then as far as the streaming goes, I'll be streaming here pretty soon, I think. I just upgraded my internet to 3.0, so I'll try to stream pretty soon, MZT.
Cool. And then I got another question here. I'll let Sinner take this one. Pikachu asks, which is more fun to you, playing Fury or playing ARMS, and why?
I love Fury, like, hands down, just because of the management you have to do. You have to think a few globals ahead of what you're currently doing, and really manage your rage so you don't starve yourself in the future, or you have enough rage for, like, an upcoming Colossus Smash window, lining up your cooldowns with that. Since CS is only it's a 20-second cooldown, but 21 seconds in your rotation, so you have to really plan ahead for what's coming up next, and the CS windows are huge amounts of DPS in your rotation, so perfecting that is really nice compared to ARMS, where CS uptime is a lot higher and it's just a static rotation.
Cool. One question that I guess both of you can just toss input in. They're wanting to know, I guess, doing that LFR DPS challenge, a lot of people are seeing the, like Quicks and I think that Dave Clapp and even Soy, they come in there with their mastery set and things like that. What are your guys' opinions on it, and do you actually have one of your own, either of you?
I think they're fixing that in MOP. I think the way they're taking out Deathwish completely, I believe, and changing the way the mastery works, I think. So, we don't have to worry too much about that come MOP. And I think it's pretty retarded, and I don't do it. And I didn't do it when I parsed in T12 and all the other stuff, so I haven't parsed too much in this tier, but I haven't tried too hard either, because it's, like I said, I play Fury, and it's already completely GIMP spec, so who cares about number 1 on the GIMP spec? And then the reason I pretty much don't do it is because I found out you have to do the Moonwell Chalice daily, and that's not happening.
Okay, for people that aren't really familiar with what it is, Sinner, could you just give a quick rundown of what they're talking about whenever you're talking about the mastery set, and then your opinion on it?
Mastery pre-pull set is pretty much you collect as much mastery gear as you can. There's some links around the internet that has like a full best in slot possible mastery set. So you pretty much equip that gear in, and before the fight you pop Moonwell Chalice and then Deathwish, because they made a change in tier 12 where you could actually use Moonwell and it would stay even after swapping trinkets, but they made a change so it doesn't anymore. So now you press Deathwish while Moonwell is active before the fight starts, so Death Wish takes that mastery into the fight, and it doesn't change after you swap your gear or trinkets. So you pop that 2 seconds before the fight and just go from there. And it's your Death Wish goes up to about 60% increased damage versus 27ish.
So the loss of 2 to 3 seconds is worth the gain by getting the amplified benefit of the mastery.
Yeah, it averages around to anywhere from 200 to 800 DPS, sometimes even more, depending on how your mastery set is. As for me, I have a mastery set, but I don't really use it. I even collected it, but in tier 12, I even beat Juvy's purse without it on Balrog. I don't really see a point to using it, especially on farm. This tier I was arms for all of progression except for Heroic Spine, which I was Fury, and a mastery set's pointless on Spine because Tendon's DPS is all that matters. So, I'm fine with other warriors using it, but I don't really like it.
Yeah. One thing since we're on the topic of current tier and things like that, what were your guys? I guess two separate no, you could just get both your opinions on this. What was your guys' overview of warriors during progression and current content? Start with Juvie.
The first couple bosses, DPS didn't matter too much. Obviously, you pretty much had to play arms on your sides during progression because of, early on you didn't have an insane amount of gear, and those black phases ads didn't die instant, and Enrage was actually really tight, so you pretty much needed anything and everything you could out of that fight, so you pretty much had to play arms. Like I said, I don't really enjoy arms too much, but for that fight it was actually pretty fun because of how much super Troy pad mode you can go. And then, let's see, what are some other fights? More Chalk, obviously, we like one shot. Riggnaros was pretty fun. I played Fury for that fight because of the movement. It has a little bit more movement than Arms does, with double intercepts and a 45-second heroic leap. And that was actually pretty fun, using my movement to a big-time advantage there against other classes. And then what was it? Hagara. I think I played Arms during progression of the fight, but we two-shot it, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. Being able to Blade Storm on the icicles helped a lot. And then Altraxian, I played Fury. Early on, during progression, Arms and Fury were really close in that fight. Obviously, now that Arms is full BIS and got 416 girth and all that, Arms is pulled ahead by a lot more. But when it first started, they were pretty much neck and neck the entire time. At least me and Troy were. And then War Master, Arms is probably better, but it wasn't that big because we separated the ads. They weren't stacked up together like we do now, so it was pretty close still. It was pretty shitty for melee all around on that fight, the way we did it. And Spine, obviously Fury was a ton better because of the tendons. The tendons you had to, blow all your cooldowns instantly, and Fury was pretty much, number 2 class, behind probably Arcane Mages for that. Or Reptiles maybe, on certain tendons. And then Madness, when we first did Madness, the way it lined up is you had Death Wish for every single tentacle in the back, which early on that was the biggest factor, was getting that down before we got that next Impale. So I played Fury for that, and even now Fury's probably still better for actual pure boss DPS, but you can go Blade Storm and pad the shit out of the Bloods and get a ton of spell weave damage, so that's as far as those fights go, pretty much. So I enjoyed it overall. I thought it was a little retarded the way they did the, reskin pretty much every single boss and place you fight the boss instead of actually making unique bosses. But
what about Sinner? What about your favorite fight this tier for a warrior?
As a warrior, Altraxian, just because that fight completely catered to warriors for steady incoming rage from outside sources, just allowing you to heroic strike with your 2-piece even more. So that fight was a lot of fun as a warrior, just completely dominating people. The tier itself, so I didn't really like it because obviously Blizzard did that stealth bug fix that they didn't tell anyone about, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But sucked it up and just went to arms this tier. The only time I like played arms before this tier was heroic Maloriak when I wasn't tanking, but
So what, you say your favorite fight was Ultraxian, right?
yeah.
This tier? Yeah. I don't know, that fight, I mean, is definitely one of the more epic fights, just how you're, I mean, it's very simple in design, but it was just, I don't know, I liked it just because it's pretty epic. You're fighting a huge-ass dragon on top of Wormrest Temple and things like that. So, let's see, if anybody else has any more warrior questions, make sure you guys are throwing them in there. I saw one question earlier that I usually ask, I forgot, but somebody already asked it, was, what is your guys' favorite mount for both of you? Like flying and ground mount. Let's start with Sinner. Go ahead.
I don't really care about mounts. Right now I just ride around on the hard aspects just because how big it is. I like to troll with it, and it just looks so silly in the game that I just like riding around on it. And it acts as ground mount too.
Judy, what about you? Favorite mount?
I pretty much fly around on my Ashes all the time. I'd have to probably say it's the favorite. If only because we get to flaunt it in front of the Taxus and he gets all emo, so.
Okay, I've got a question here. It says, did you really used to pop wreck and proceed to LOS heals in 3s, or is Bond full of shit? Can we confirm or deny this claim?
I pretty much already answered that in chat. If I die, it's Bond's fault. He's supposed to heal me, so, you know. If he can't keep up with the damage, then he sucks.
Yeah, I tried to explain Shinna how baller our TSG comp was, and Bond was the weak link when we were when we had our 3s escapade of I don't remember even how high we got. It was like 22. It's pretty bad. It's like 2250 or something.
2350. It's like 2350.
Yeah,
I think it's the highest we got.
But I remember Bond messing up our hotter streak or whatever at 9 wins
Oh my god! Yeah,
because he got soloed by I don't even remember what it was.
Right?
It was like
a rogue and I think a feral maybe. I think it was a rogue feral.
No, it was one dude. He like had him behind a pillar, and the guy like wrecked him. I just remember thinking like, what is going on? But yeah, it went from being in the bag to an easy loss. But let's see. Speaking about a couple things outside the game, I know Sinner's from Canada and Juvy's from Texas. Just because mainly I'm a huge NFL fan, I want to get your guys' both opinion. I want this is official on the record. I want it's just a one-word answer from both of you. Juvie, what team do you think Peyton Manning's going to?
Cardinals.
You don't even read NFL.com. He already told them.
I'm telling you.
He's already said he wasn't signing with them.
He's
All right.
going to sign with them.
All right, got it. What about Sinner? Give me your pick.
I'd have to say Tennessee just so when
Yes!
it's announced and you're streaming, I want to see the reaction.
Dude, Sinner knows what's up. Peyton is going to the Titans. It's I figured it actually would have happened by now. I don't know what's going on. Apparently he worked out for the...
he hates the Titans.
no, man. He worked out for the 49ers on Tuesday. I can't believe that you're going to say that Alex Smith is your dude as a coach, and then it's just like, you just sell him up the river, man. I don't know. I could just imagine Alex Smith eating his Cheerios this morning and, like, you know, going to NFL.com and seeing that Jim Harbaugh did a physical with Peyton Manning on Tuesday.
Cheetos.
Yeah, he probably lost it, man. But what about if you guys had to pick a warrior to give a shout out to that wasn't in the guild? You guys go ahead, one each.
I don't know any warriors that are in my guild, so fuck them all.
All right, what about you, Sinner?
Quicks, he's my homeboy, and Ceramore too. So Ceramore kind of sucks.
What happened with Ceramore? I thought he was an up and coming individual that had a lot of promise.
Yeah, it's good. I think he actually beat Juvie and Quicks' Ultraxian first the other night.
Oh, he beat Quicks? I know Quicks had a really high one. He ended up beating that one too?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. So Ceramore's up and coming. Maybe the next real deal. But okay, probably got time for a couple more questions, but I had a question I wanted both of you guys to answer before we end up finishing. And before we get to that, I'm going to go to my Twitter, and then we're going to pick out 2 armories, and we're going to just chip through those, and then maybe go over 1 or 2 more questions, and following that, we'll just do a quick wrap-up. So, alright, we're going to do the first 2 here that are on my armory. Or, I'm sorry, armory, the first 2 that are on my Twitter. I'll go ahead and post these for you guys in stream chat. And we're going to check this guy out. We'll let Juvie do this one, and then we'll let Sinner do the next one. So, Juvie, you can start with that one, and then just start with his gymming, and just comment on professions. You've seen me do the tank audits and things.
Yeah. Belt, no epic gym. That's a big no-no here, man. You gotta have full epic gyms. Don't bother showing up if you don't. His professions are the same as mine, so it's fine.
So that makes it okay?
Yeah, they're fine, dude. Sit there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if we want to get technical, jewel crafting is a stat loss, but here, go ahead.
Yeah, but I made too much gold with it. I couldn't pass that up, man. Sorry. It's not happening. He's pretty much armed, so I'm pretty sure he's reforged correctly. You pretty much want crit mastery on almost every single item after you're capped. So, I mean, it looks like he's doing everything correctly.
Hey Rick, what guild is that?
Midsummer, are you talking about?
Yeah, I think it's Midsummer.
Yeah. What about spec? Let's go ahead and check his spec out. We'll check out his Fury spec. Let GB comment on his Fury spec, and then Sinner, since he's the arms guy.
Alright, his Fury spec is incorrect. He has 3 points of insight instead of 3 points of deep wounds, even with the change to T12. Deep wounds 3 out of 3 is still better than 3 out of 3 insight. This tier, you obviously don't have to do any interrupting or anything, so you don't really need root interruption.
Was that possible? It's a PvP spec or no? I don't really.
No, it's not a PvP spec. He doesn't have furious attacks, and no one ever actually PvPs as Fury, so.
Wait, so you're saying these 3 points in insight should be better put in?
You should put 1 more point in deep wounds, and then have 2 out of 3 insight, basically, instead of 2 out of 3 deep wounds or 3 out of 3 insight, basically.
That is a troll spec.
Yeah, that's incorrect.
Yeah, it's probably just somebody that submitted it just to
see if we actually paid it.
Yeah, I don't know. So what about the arm spec?
First off with the Fury, he has 3 out of 3 blood craze. Needs to be in booming voice. And the extra talent point can go into piercing howl or something else.
Wait, no, I'm talking about the arm spec. You're still looking at the Fury spec.
With arms, the spec looks good. It's a single target arm spec. If he's primarily playing arms, he should have a second arm spec that has Blood and Thunder. Remove the 2 points from improved Executioner and put them into Blood and Thunder. And that's pretty much the AoE arm spec.
I mean, let's be honest, if you're gonna go arms, you might as well go full pad and just fuck single target and just grab Blood and Thunder and glyph Blade Storm and just go to town on every single fight. Just pad city.
Like Bashiro?
Like Quicks.
Yeah, like Bashiro, basically.
Makes
Quicks
sense.
ended up going AoE spec on Traxium.
Wait, why is that?
You forgot.
Oh, okay. What about glyphs? I'm not too savvy with the DPS warrior glyphs. Are there much that can be changed around on those or no?
Glyphs look good.
I'm pretty sure the only thing he's changing is on your side. She grabs a Blade Storm glyph instead of Slam glyph.
Yeah, and for minor glyphs, you could use Battle Shout instead of Command or Demo Shout. Other than that, it's just really dependent. Major glyphs, Long Charge, that could be for like your side charging those slimes, getting to it quicker, or you can replace that with Cleave, which would be a better option.
Cool. And then one thing we didn't touch on actually, what about reforging, or is that something you guys really just need to check out a sim or something for? Because I know when I do the tank reforges, it's a little bit too much to be going through every single piece of gear. Or is that something you guys can just check out real quick, or?
Well, I mean, he's expertise cap and hit cap, and pretty much after that, it's crit and mastery for arms, and It looks like he's reforging correctly on pretty much all these items. He's
In
a little
fact,
bit over expertise cap, but I'd have to run that through WoW Reforge to see if he could get any closer, basically. But
yeah, he's just 7 over expertise and 1 hit rating over. His mastery's a little low. It should be around 16 or so. But I like it. Juvie said you probably have to run his gears through WoW Reforge.
Cool. Okay, moving on from this guy without full epic gems. We're going to go to Rex from Guild Jaden. Plays in a guild Adorestia. Not sure. I'll just toss this link in stream chat, and then we'll let Sinner start with this one. This one is, yeah, he's an arms warrior. Looks like he's got the tier 6 transmog going on. So, yeah, just start with his gems and then go from there.
I'm just looking over it now. He could use the epic gem in his cloak since that's BIS. He's not going to be replacing that until a new tier comes out or mob. He has an epic gem in his best in slot braces, so that's good. He could get the Valor Points Strong Weapon, replacing that 378 from a 5-man. Fire Skin Gauntlet, that's an odd choice. Try to get LFR gloves and get a 4-piece. I see you only have 2-piece currently. Rings look good. If you could try to get the Exalted Fireland Zerp ring and replace that with the 397. Just going over his reforging, he's way under hit cap, or over hit cap and way under expertise cap. He should be aiming for around 961 hit rating and 781 expertise rating, as those are the exact caps. His mastery is good, it's pretty high, but his crit is kinda low.
Is that something that him going to like WoW Reforge or whatever would help out, or no? Is it just a gear thing?
Just going to WoW Reforge and setting, there's an option to set your hit cap to exactly 961 and then expertise to 781. It should tell you if that's possible. If not, go at least, and I'll get you as close as possible as I can.
Cool stuff. Looking at his professions, anything really glaring? I mean, like, are there two standout professions as a DPS warrior? Or is really anything that has a raid stat gain good enough?
Blacksmithing, hands down, he should get. The extra stats is really worth it. You could replace that with jewel crafting, because jewel crafting is a subpar profession this year, but that's only really if he's min-maxing and if he's full epic gems, which he's not. Which he's also missing an epic gem in his legs, so I assume that's just like a lack of money because he has 2 out of 3 in those legs.
And as far as enchants go, those are pretty good from what it looks like. I think they are.
Yeah.
He's got the precision to boots.
Gloves.
Is that normal?
yeah, that's pretty much.
glove
There's not
enchants.
much movement, and glove enchant is what's bad though.
Cool. All right.
35 strength out of 50.
Yeah. Let's check out his spec, and then we'll move on to the wrap up portion after this.
Actually, as
what's
a arms, he should be using the plus 50 mastery enchant to his boots.
Okay, and then what? Just get the missing hit from either reforging or something?
No, he's over hit cap, so it should be fine.
Okay, and what about his spec? I notice he doesn't have the Blood and Thunder you referenced earlier. This looks like a single target arm spec, I'm guessing. One thing that's different about this than that
It's
other spec.
Throwdown. He needs to put the point out of Throwdown and put it into 1 out of 2 of Blitz. It's just extra 5 additional rage when he charges.
I'm guessing it's just what throwdown's a PvP talent only. There's no benefit to
Yeah.
having that in PvE. Yeah. Okay.
It's good for like Ragnaros, but that's about it.
I was gonna say, can you throw down suns?
Yeah, it stuns him.
What about glyphs? Those are pretty cookie cutter or what?
His prime and major glyphs look good. His minor looks like fury glyphs. Deep bloody healing and enduring victory. You should get like Battle Shout and just another filler. Enduring victory is fine, or commanding.
Cool stuff. Okay, so hopefully that helped him out a bit if he's curious about any ways to improve. So just a quick recap. They're saying you could use Mastery to boots. Obviously, just keep working towards getting full epic gems, and then the spec isn't really, I don't think it just depends on the fight you guys are working on. Like the stream pointed out, you can even use the throwdown on like sappers or something if you're in a 10-man guild or something like that. So it's a very situational talent. And then as far as the other guy, looked like he needed a little bit of work all around. So hopefully he can, check up on a theory crafting site to understand some of the things that were mentioned as far as improving his character. So I had a few questions you guys have already answered from all the people. Last thing I kind of try and wrap these up with is the same question for everybody, and I'll just get both your guys' opinion of it. And that would just be, what advice would you have to somebody that will start with Sinner? Like, what advice would you have for somebody that was looking to separate themselves? Like, what separates a good DPS warrior from a great DPS warrior?
It's really just maximizing. You have to make sure you use Bloodthirst every other cooldown as a Fury warrior, or Moral Strike on cooldown as an Arms warrior. Sometimes people forget that and kind of delay their main ability. You base your rotation around that. As well as just like managing your rage levels, especially as Fury is critical. You can't really rage talk, otherwise your DPS will go down a lot. And like, say on a fight as Ultraxing, that's not really an issue because of the amount of rage you're getting around the 5-minute mark. You can just spam away all that excess rage, but on fights where there's really no outcoming rage sources, you really have to manage your rage levels.
Juvie, what about you? What do you think separates a good DPS warrior from a great DPS warrior?
I mean, obviously, most classes DPS is pretty easy for the most part. So, outside of that, it's being able to stay alive and not take any damage that's not needed, knowing when to use your last stand if it's not called for to save a life. Make sure you're using like Enrage Regen to help on the healers. And like Spawn, you can use Enrage Regen to help out with the healing debuff if the healers are falling behind. And if you can, like with us, if I have it going into a roll and Rig pops his 4-piece, I try to use Enrage Regen with that to buff the healing even more. Which I honestly not even sure if it affects it, to be honest, but it sounds good, doesn't it?
It will. You're talking about your Enrage Regen?
Yeah,
with
Enrage Regen.
Yeah,
with Vamp Blood, yeah. And then pretty much that. Not taking damage you don't need to take. Staying alive on fights. You do 0 DPS when you're dead, so just make sure you're alive.
Cool stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely huge thanks to both of you guys for hopping on here and things like that. And then, on top of that, just helping being active in stream chat and things like that. So, yeah, thanks again for hopping on, and I'll probably catch you guys for the raids tonight or something.
Cool.
See ya!
See ya.
Cool, yep. Alright, that is that as far as the interview with them is going. So, just a quick recap. I mean, we went over several different things, everything from, a lot of their favorite things about the game and, favorite sets of armor, boss fights, tiers, things like that. And then they even got to answer some questions from you guys. I'll have this uploaded on YouTube, within the next day or so. And, you guys make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to catch it on there. May or may not have some sales runs going on tonight. We'll see how that plays out and things like that. So, even still, I mean, Sunday through Friday, we've got something going on here at 5 p.m. every day. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to follow it. This coming Sunday is the LFR DPS Challenge. Okay, so if you guys have really good gear and you guys want to show up and your horde, we can cross realm it. It's pretty much a collection of people with near or full best in slot gear, and they would just come in here every Sunday, one-time deal, one pull, one shot. Go big and do work, and just see who can lay pipe the hardest. So Shadows is the defending champion, and then hopefully we'll be able to get a cameo from that guy from Promethean that flaked out or whatever last week after he won the previous week. So yeah, make sure you guys are around. It's at 5 p.m. On Sunday. There won't, we have a couple rules. Obviously, you can't be an enhancement shaman, and something like that. But either way, thanks for watching the stream. You guys make sure to follow it if you're new here, and add me on Facebook and Twitter and things like that if you want to also. So I will, have this updated on YouTube so you guys can check out the interview later on if you want. It'll be in the playlist. So thanks again. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm just going to chill out a bit before the raid. All right, so run a few commercials. All right, good talk.